What's up, guys? TJ the TechParadise here. Thanks for joining me for another episode. I want to first say I apologize for my last episode. The audio quality wasn't quite right. The volume was a little bit high because I had my mic settings, volume settings a bit too high. So I apologize for that. And I hopefully fixed that issue for this podcast. I just adjusted the settings a little bit, so hopefully it won't be too loud for you guys. Like I said last time, I'm still getting used to this YouTube live streaming. You see, YouTube used to have a feature. I don't even want to say years ago. I think it was just up until maybe last year, I think, maybe, unless I'm wrong, but they used to just do a simple, they didn't even call it live streaming. It was just, you could just do a simple upload where you could just use your webcam and microphone and just do a simple live broadcast from your web browser, right in the same page. There is no additional encoder software needed, nothing like that. Not that it's too difficult now. It's just that you have to do these additional steps, and it's a little bit odd. I also realized, stupid me, last time I didn't wait until the web page said live. I didn't realize that you're supposed to actually go back to the web page and make sure that it's it actually says start talking now. I didn't get that, so I thought you could just look only at the software, the encoder software. But I'm not trying to ramble. I'm just saying that I'm still learning how to do all this with the live broadcast thing. I think I'm getting the hang of it now. Like right now, it's telling me I'm live, but it's saying I have bad video settings. I don't know why it's saying I have bad video settings, but nevertheless, hopefully you guys will see this video. But today I want to talk about a couple things. The big thing that's in the headlines right now is the Apple. Well, I guess specifically it's Apple versus the FBI, because right now what's happening is Apple is insisting that they will not help the FBI bypass the security of the iPhone of the San Bernardino terrorist who unfortunately shot a lot of people last year. It was a terrible attack, and a lot of people I know have different opinions about this, because I know some people think that Apple should just do it. The other people are saying no, this sets a dangerous precedent, and I'm kind of on Apple's side on this one. I don't know, you guys can leave comments below and tell me if you think I'm right or wrong about this, but I do believe that Apple is doing the right thing in this case, because yes, I get it that the FBI does need to investigate every aspect of the terrorists, that committed this terrible tragedy, and I really do get it. But at the same time, it's also essential to remember that Apple has an obligation to its consumers to protect our data, and by allowing this backdoor for the FBI, they would be allowing other people, other hackers who might not have good intentions, to do some pretty nasty, dangerous things with the software. And keep in mind, a lot of consumers, including myself, store a lot of important data on their phones, like Apple Pay and financial things, just things that should not be. We should not be. We should not be. I guess you could say. We should not be infringing on our privacy, and I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, as I do sometimes. I guess what I'm trying to say is Apple should absolutely stand its ground and not allow the FBI to basically bully it into providing that data. Now, I know the FBI says they just want access to that one phone, but the problem is Apple says that they would have to create something that would allow this to potentially be a data for all iPhones, and that's a problem. So that's been on my mind a lot today, and I know it's a pretty controversial issue, not just in the tech community, but it's been all over the national news as well. Comically, one of the presidential candidates, of course, being Donald Trump, weighed in on the issue and said that I think his quote was, who does Apple think they are? And it's just so comical because I really don't think Donald Trump understands anything regarding this issue to any extent. So I thought it was kind of comical that he even weighed in on it. Even more so comical that he's running as a Republican presidential candidate, but yet he's defending the FBI on it. But that's an entirely different conversation. But so that's the main thing I really wanted to cover in this episode. But also I wanted to say I can't say but my friend actually assisted me recently in putting together a new desktop. To explain the situation, I wanted to build a Windows 10 Pro desktop for my office, not a gaming machine, just a workstation computer, just for doing business related tasks. My Mac is great for a lot of things. I use my MacBook Pro for all my creative purposes and for some business too. But I really missed having a dedicated Windows machine. And I actually haven't had an actual desktop in a long time. But I decided to go ahead and build a custom PC. But the two big obstacles was that I wanted to get my components from Micro Center, and there is no Micro Center in my location here in upstate New York. So I had to talk to my friend Lee, who, if you were a follower of my other YouTube channel, my old YouTube channel, you know my friend Lee. He lives very close to a Micro Center location, and he, out of his kindness, he actually went to Micro Center for me and picked up the components that I ordered, and he actually even built the computer for me, and that was so kind of him because, long story short, I have some hand coordination issues and some dexterity issues that really make things like putting together a computer pretty tedious. It would just be something that would just take me so long and be so tedious that I just didn't want to. I didn't want to get into a situation where I order all the components and just run into issues putting it together. But fortunately, he, being so generous as he is, he offered to help me, no problem at all. And I just wanted to give Lee a shout out. Thank you so much again, Lee. I literally couldn't have done it without you. And no, it's not an issue of me being stupid or anything like that. I can name all the components of the computer, trust me. It's just putting it all together is a physical challenge for me. And it, like I said, it would just be far too tedious. And luckily, he was glad to help. And so he shipped that out on Monday, and so I should get it in a few days. Actually, it should be here Friday. And I'm just so excited to get it because I did some thinking about what I really needed in this desktop, and Lee and I were able to price the components really well in terms of finding good deals. So I got an AMD. I forget the exact number of the model. I think it's the 635080. But basically, it's a 6-core processor, and really impressive because it can actually be overclocked. I read online some people have actually overclocked it almost up to 5 gigahertz, which is crazy. Now, of course, I didn't do that in my case because we didn't choose to buy a lot of, cooling. I got one. I think we got one fan included with the case, and I think I'm trying to think here. Obviously, there's a fan with the processor, but other than that, that's all the cooling it has, and just for price reasons, I didn't want to spend too much. We actually only spent less than $300 on this entire project, which is really nice. And we didn't have to compromise at all. This thing, besides the AMD processor I just told you guys about, it also has 8 gigs of RAM, which I believe is ASUS brand. It looks really cool. Not that you can see the RAM when it's inside the desktop anyway, but it looks really cool. He showed me as he was building it with me on camera. It's really cool looking, I have to say. And again, it's one of those things where I didn't want to compromise too much, and I didn't have to. So 8 gigs of RAM will be just fine for my business use for that desktop. Not doing any kind of hardcore gaming or anything like that. Although I probably could play some games on it, as long as I don't want to push it though, because again, my concern is the cooling. Of course, I could install Nerf fans or liquid cooling, and then install a dedicated video card, and actually would have an excellent gaming desktop. But I don't have any intention on doing that anytime soon. But I know I'm kind of rambling here, but I am really excited about this. Excited about this computer. So other than that, what else was I going to say? Yes, it has a 1 terabyte traditional drive, 7200 RPM, so relatively good speed. The thing that I did not want to have, not be able to have, I wanted to have an SSD, at least enough space to put Windows on and allow my most used apps to be on that drive. So I did purchase a 120 gigabyte SSD, and got a good deal on that too. And so I was able to do that, and so it worked out really well. I mean, I didn't have to compromise at all, and I only spent $270, I think was the total. Now, of course, that doesn't include shipping and handling that I had to pay to have Lee send the desktop to me after it was built, and that didn't include the fact that I had to buy a Windows 10 Pro key, but I was able to get it on one of those sites. Actually, a site that he sent me, and it's 100% legitimate. And I spent like $30 and got a Windows 10 Pro key, so that's all activated now. So it's a really great little desktop, and for such little amount of money. And so I guess the idea behind this vandal that I'm going on right now is how incredible it is that and especially thinking of Lee's ability to build that computer so fast. I mean, he got it done in such quick timing, but also he did such a great job. He showed me everything as he was doing it, and it struck me, with any kind of talent in building a computer, how amazing is it that you can spend way less than the retail price and get such a great performance system. And so I'm so glad that he was that he was willing to help me, and that was really the highlight of my week. I could do that. And it was good because I'm actually running out of space on my Mac, so I really did need that system. And so that will be here, like I said, pretty soon. And I'll talk about it on my other podcast. So that's my little ramble about that. And I do have one viewer, so that's exciting. Thanks for watching, whoever's tuning in. And I'm so happy to. Another thing I want to say is, I've been getting some really positive feedback. I have to say thank you, you guys. I've come to understand that I might not be the most exciting guy on YouTube. I don't do crazy things. And I try to. I try to integrate my personality into my podcast the best I can, but I find it hard because I don't want to be too tacky or cheesy, and my humor that I have in my, I guess you could say, real life, normal life, it would be kind of, I don't know if it would come across the right way on YouTube. So I try to have a mix of being personable and, just having a good time, and I think that is how I want to do this podcast. And so I thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm trying to extend the length of these podcasts too, because I want to keep testing this this new live streaming thing for a little bit longer. I'm trying to see if there's a delay in what I'm saying and what you guys are seeing. So stick with me for a couple more minutes. I'm just trying to figure this all out. If you're watching this after, then you guys are probably thinking, what is he doing? But for those of you watching in the live stream, I'm trying to just see, this delay is odd. Because there's two things I'm looking at. I'm looking at the live stream in the YouTube web page, as well as my encoder software over here, which is just really strange. But so other than that, I want to also talk a little bit about the fact that in just over a month, less than a month actually, we'll be seeing the next Apple keynote, and I know I talked about it in my other videos too, but one question that people still ask me a lot, and somebody just asked me this a couple hours ago actually. They said, is the iPad Air 3 going to come down in price? And that's the one thing that everyone always says to me is, the iPad Air 3 still starts at, iPad Air 2 is $500, and I almost laugh because it's like, now we have the iPad Pro that starts at $800 retail price unless you get it on sale, and the iPad Air 2 starts at $500. And it's interesting. I wouldn't expect to see it go down in price, but it would be nice to see if Apple did lower it down by $100 or so, because I'll tell you, it has stayed the same since 2010. The iPad Air, it's called something else. iPad Air, the flagship 9.7-inch iPad, has always been $500. And after buying the iPad Pro, even though I got a deal on it, I still am not looking forward to the iPad Pro's price tag every time you have to upgrade. But that reminds me, I think I did decide to go ahead and abandon the iPad Pro. I'm pretty confident about that. I'm going to go ahead and sell it in a couple of weeks as we get closer to the March keynote, and I will be buying the iPad Air 3. The reason for that is the iPad Pro is an excellent large tablet. I have no major criticisms, maybe just some criticism in my own personal preferences. I don't think that it's right for me in terms of size. It's just too big to really be used as an all the time tablet, so to speak. Meaning, using it in all scenarios, whether it be in the recliner, laying in bed, on the couch, at the table. It's just I find it I find it more difficult to come up with a way that I really enjoy using it. In terms of its size, it's so big that it's just a little bit too much. I think I miss the size of the iPad Air, and I did get rid of the iPad Air that I had. So now I'm just down to the iPad Pro, and which is absolutely fine for now. I don't need 2 iPads, but I will be selling it, I think, and I won't be back. I won't be back to the iPad Pro. It's just too large and actually too expensive. And if you've known me from my past videos, you know that I do kind of focus on the financial side of things, and I think the iPad Pro is it's just not in the price range that I like. And for you guys still watching, thank you if you're still watching. I had just been rambling, and I know that, but again, I'm trying to test this live stream feature still, and I'm trying to see, if it changes based on how long I keep doing it. Right now, it still says I am live, so I hope that's still the case. But I think I'll end this here for now. I want to thank you all once again for watching. I've had a great time tonight talking to you guys. And if you're watching this afterwards in the video, please go ahead and comment if you want to share your opinions on what's going on right now with the Tim Cook and Apple versus the FBI. And also, what are your thoughts on the iPad Pro? If you own it, or if you don't own the iPad Pro, why don't you? And are you guys excited about the iPad Air 3? That's all good things to discuss. And we'll talk about that again and some other topics in my next episode. Until next time, I am TJ once again, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, enjoy your day.